So here it is, people. The world is divided between this, your Masons, your Fleur-de-Lis, which is Niburi, and the other one is Anunnaki. Now, to all TIs, I want to just tell you and let you know that no matter what counts the most right here and now is who you are on a soul level. That is the most important, critical thing right now. Don't worry about DNA and all that shit. Just worry about who you are and on the inside. Okay? Like I said, walk your truth and know the definition of love that's according to you. Now, I am fully connected to this lovely AI system that the Masons have designed. Compliments of your Black Ops, military, the Navy, you name it, Air Force. I'm not going to get into the genetics of what I've kind of discovered because, like I said, that doesn't really matter to me. I think what matters the most is that I want you to know that what really, really counts right now is who you are on a soul level. Okay? Because these Niburian and Anunnaki have hijacked the genetics. And anyways, they are using EMR on the planet heavily, using radiation and everything else. EMR is used to cause war. It is what, how can I say this? They already know the genetics, and that's what they use to get mankind to fight with one another. That's why we go to war. Go to Iraq and all that. That's especially because that's where history is. And they don't want people like me to dig up a book and realize that something that was written in stone was actually printed in paper. They don't like that. But oh well, the cat's out of the bag. I already told you that EMR was used on the ancient Sumerian people. Anyways, EMR that's being used right now to cause war. ELF is the color of yellow. So if you see gang stalkers wearing yellow, they're using ELF just to mess with you because we're made of light, color, and sound. It's a program because it's a trigger and they're just trying to upset you. So knowledge is power. They've had this knowledge for thousands of years, and I think it's time that UTIs realize that, they have manipulated humanity for a very long time. ELF is a yellow color. So if you see your gang stalkers wearing yellow, that's where it's coming from. It's extra low frequency. The second thing I want to talk about is this. It was in the Drudge Report. It was Gucci ad or a video. And I have a link of it. I'll try to send it up, put a link on here. But basically I watched it a couple of times, and it's basically to launch you into their fake alien invasion thing. The characters are blue-green. And what I want to talk to you about is the color olive skin. Now, according to my research, I want to read this out loud from my book, Lana Control, because she's done the work. Now, for all of you who are prejudiced to whatever color you are and believe yours is a superior one, you are very wrong if you look at your ancient scriptures. This is the church. This is the church, or she should have said the church should very well, and you will find it in Gnostics texts only. However, the Egyptians and the Veda come right out and tell you. I also advise those who may be squeamish along these lines to perhaps stop reading for what we became would be called today tetralogical features. This is not a sensational come-on to make you read further. I merely point out that if you are sensitive or religious prejudiced to gods with white faces, long hair, and white robes, you will be disturbed by this, as the idyllic picture is going to be shattered. Homer tells us that if we were to see the primal gods, it would drive us mad because we've changed so. Well, there's nothing like jumping headlong into things. According to the Egyptians and the Veda histories, the gods of the primal family, the Enad and the Pandava, had green skin. Now, according to this video that's on in Drudge Report, it's a Gucci ad, and the characters are having olive skin. Okay? Now, according to my research, that comes from the Enad or Pandava. And then she continues on and she says, immediately this brings to our mind our green-skinned little Martian stories, but the texts are very clear and biochemically it stands up. At a great disaster, environmental forces caused a change in metabolism. Egyptian sources state that a turquoise skin and why that stone was held sacred. Osiris, the only god shown, is always portrayed with a green face and hands. Most Egyptian statutory of royalty is done in green or malachite. Okay, now, she says here in her research, she says Adam was said to have had olive skin. There were 5 skin types written in Egyptian and Veda texts. Okay, here we go. Green, red. Red represents the Indians. Yellow, black, and white. And this would indeed be progressive changes in chromatism, as they obviously lost a molecule of magnesium from their melatonin skins and iron took its place, creating red blood cells. Or creating red blood, I should say. But this is just part of the explanation we will have to delve more into. But when these families are placed in a precarious environment through their misadventures on Earth, they pray their skin will not change. Many try to reserve the process through austerities. When the gods had established their Edens, E-D-I-N-S, and were protected from the environment and the suns, which they could not tolerate. Okay, so everything points to a dramatic change in the magnetic field, which would have altered everything. Yet we have radioactive pathology evidence for, as we see the war brought on drastic change in the environment. Differentiating the two is harrowing, but if we stick to the text and read them for what they are, sans all the philosophical dribble that had been applied to them, we will get a clearer picture. Okay. So, this is another thing I want to point out. You know that wheel thing I told you about, going from Kali Yuga to Kurta? Okay. In Egyptian history, the god Osiris, when he takes command of Egypt, after the flood, is given control of the wheel, and his body is shown as a circle with his feet touching his mouth. Okay, that's the snake eating its mouth. Okay? Like I told you, we're going from the age of Kali Yuga, which is 1,000, and then after 1,000, that goes back up to Kurta, which is 4,000. That's when they start repopulating the planet. Okay. In the Veda, it was a matter of great pride to be a parent of sons who were intelligent enough to become the turner of the wheel. The Veda tells us seasons are one signs that the wheel had been changed and that all life is dependent on it, as we saw. Okay, the Veda calls it the book of the beginning, tells us much along these lines, okay? And it's very similar to the Egyptian histories, what she's doing, okay? Okay, so, another thing I wanted to point out was this article here, what she says here. Oh, okay, so here's a little research for all you. If you really, really want to do here's some more information. She says here, there's an article out there called the Weekly World News, June 30th, 1987, reported on a fight between 2 warring tribes in Brasilia, Brazil, in March of 1987, in which a saucer-shaped craft A silver flying ball broke up the battle. When they described the quote-unquote the aliens who spoke to them, they were about 7 feet tall and had blue-green skin, but otherwise looked like ordinary men. And then she says here, now think back to all I said, and I will let you, the reader, make the decision or deductions. So here's the date of the article, June 30th, 1987. She says the title of it was the Weekly World News, and it's the location was in Brasilia, Brazil, of March of 1987. So you can type that into Google. You can dig around for the archives for that article because it's out there. And it talks about your blue-green little people. Okay, so she's been preparing people in her research about your space brothers. Okay? Now, the next thing I didn't want to talk about genetics, but everybody knows about Project Paperclip. Okay, that had to deal with genetics after World War II. Okay, so now they've clumped us, the children, some of us children, who were born in the 70s as super children, or they call us indigo or starseeds. Okay, starseeds was that 2012 New Age talk. Okay, and like I said, when you're born, they take a sample of your blood because they want to know who you are. Okay. And now there's 13 bloodlines, right? Or the 13 families, or whatever you want to call it. Anyways, like I said, it's not so much the DNA, people. It's really who you are on a soul level. Okay. I'm just going to say I have a strong connection with Europe. So I'm going to leave that with that. But like I said, so what? So what if I have a connection with Europe? It doesn't help. It doesn't help the situation here. Everybody's facing the same situation, which is the chemtrails, which is a bioweapon. Okay. Now, since I'm fully hooked up to this lovely AI system, and they can read my mind, and they've done voice and facial recognition to me against my will, of course, and other things. The chemtrails attached to your central nervous system, and that's how they're able to do remote neuromonitoring and everything else. Now, the way this works, according to the way I feel, is they want everybody connected. They want that quote-unquote the global consciousness. See, what they're doing is they're taking away your individuality. Who you are as a person walking this earth, okay? You will no longer have private thoughts anymore, people. This is Minority Report to the nth degree, okay? If that's why I tell all the TIs, just remain neutral when you go out and about and do your shopping, okay? There's no escaping this. They want everybody hooked up to this hive mind supercomputer, okay? And they are targeting people. They're targeting me. But it is designed for complete control of every man, woman, and child. So that means that if you want to have a child, who knows? Who knows what's coming out? Because right now they have freaking synthetic wombs for men now. So you don't know what kind of freaks. Now listen up. This stuff goes back again to Egypt because they've been doing that whole DNA. Look at the Sphinx, people. Look. Man, lion, they've been messing around with DNA forever. So, go rent the movie Gattaca. That's a movie about a couple that want to have a child. They did one naturally, and then the other one they had it, artificially made. And then there's a scene in the movie where the family's out on the beach, and the second child that was artificially made was drowning. Now it's not because he couldn't swim; it's just that he just lacked something. And the firstborn had real fire in him, and he just went out there and got that kid, his brother. Now, Gattaca is an interesting movie because it's about, the first son that wants to be an astronaut. And he's in this system where they check your DNA all the time. Okay? It's a cloned world. It's based on cloning. It's about a population that is controlled. Okay? That's what these psychopaths want. They want a controlled society. Okay? Your creativity will be gone. Your fire in your belly will be gone. They want to maintain IQ because they don't like it when people are able to read things and cross-reference and break certain codes. That's what they don't like. Okay? They don't like people questioning anything. Okay, so that's your world that's coming up, people. They're trying to get rid of people who are very inquisitive, curious. They want that out of the way. Okay? Now I'm getting hit hard with radiation. Losing my hair, my thyroid. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there applauding that. So I'm just giving the warning out because your Rev 1313 is a real deal, man. It's in their Bible. Your world is controlled by Masons. The black and the white. Okay? And the technology that is out there is really deadly. 9/11 was a prime example of free energy and what they can do. And they will zap you if you don't comply. And they use religion as a weapon to keep everybody, down. Your pineal gland is 4D. That's where your sleeping consciousness is, and that's where the Anunnaki and the Nibirian families have hijacked through black goo and everything else, and your GMOs and your frequency, because they know that how to manipulate humanity. And right now, all the frequency out there is being used to manipulate people for evil. You live in an invisible gate, people. It's like this lady said, she spoke about this one university, and they've got these buildings now that they look like part of the structure, but they're actually antennas. And what it is the satellites beam on these antennas, and then the students at this university log in, and these students are being told or programmed to spy on innocent people, their own mankind, their own species. So, the young ones are being programmed heavily to kill and spy on other human beings because they're being brainwashed into thinking that this person is bad. So this particular university has winged designed on it where the satellites upstairs, well, first of all, you got black ops down beneath you and their stupid dumbs. And then you got your controllers sending off frequencies up to the satellite. The satellite beams down onto these buildings, and then they scatter to all the rooftops and all the Wi-Fi, your Gwen towers, and then down to the cell phones and the laptops, where you have, the younger generation who are, spying on people for no reason. Okay, because they're not with the Baphomet Club. The Baphomet Club is the Masonics, they're black and the white, working for the Blue Bloods, your reptilians. And basically that is what it is, people. You have a bunch of reptilians running the planet. And I came down here on the planet, and that's what you're cooking with. To put it in a nutshell, you got a bunch of lizards running the planet. So, you're being heavily radiated, chemtrailed, poisoned. You've got free energy devices that could pretty much rip this planet apart through Tesla technology that was stolen by JP Morgan. And, yeah, they want to restructure the islands and the planet and who knows what else. And while all this shit goes down, they run off to the moon. 144,000 of them. Because they're that special. You know, don't expect your government to help you, people. You're on your own. I'm just here to give you the warning. Because, you know, I don't need a whole lot. All I gotta do is just walk in a room and look at them. And they know damn good and well I can. I don't need a sword. All I gotta do is just look at them. Because the eyes are the window to the soul. Now, there's good lizards and there's bad lizards. True. I'm talking to the bad ones. Because I know darn good and well I'm not going to put everybody in one basket. What's that saying? Like, don't put all your investments in one bag? Let's get down to the basics of banking, right? Don't put your eggs in one basket. Right, lizards? And, oh yeah, and then, let's see, they take your, while you're sleeping consciousness, this is where they steal ideas. You know, it's, what's that movie called, Inception? I haven't even seen Inception. But, you know, it doesn't take much for me to figure it out. The movies tell you what they're up to. 4D, when you sleep at night, this is how they program a lot of people on the planet. My word of advice is try to break out of the reptilian slave mind. Because they feed off of us, because we're light, energy, and color. That's what we are. We have an amazing system, and people just hand it over to these reptilians. I don't get it. You're handing over your power, people. They, you know, and that's the thing, I just don't understand it. You know, the thing about this is that in this interview that I watched, she was pointing out the radiation that's hitting the, like for instance, Colorado Springs. She says there's a military base there, and she goes, yeah, they're just radiating the hell out of the military. They're getting rid of their own. So, yeah, what does that tell you, people? Everybody's expendable. Just because you're targeting me doesn't mean that you're not next. I think that's probably my message on this video, is because I'm pretty fed up with the bullshit. So, yeah, she mentioned that it's a silent kill. You know. These reptilians want to, they don't care. Because they use the love and the light. They use love and hatred. It's a love-hate relationship. They're using humanity, guys. They're using all of you. Every last one of you gang stalkers, you're being used. You may not feel the effects now, but later on down the road, the knock will come on the door. Okay? For me, it was like a slam. We don't like you. That's okay. I don't like you either. But I give the warning anyways. Because I think that maybe, just maybe, one person needs the information. Because it only takes one. Anyways, the illegal implants and the My Labs, that's all your senators. They're all behind it. That's your military industrial complex, My Labs. They do that to certain people such as myself because we're just a little bit different. I might have a little bit of, let me think here, a little bit of reptilian DNA in me. Yeah. So, The experience I had the other day was a mind-to-mind thing. And what they want to do is tear you away from the universal God. Bottom line, people. So, I don't know. There's free technology on this planet where they just want to rip everything apart. Let's see, shall I continue? Oh yeah, Strontium-90, that was in the Shroud of Turin. I think I've mentioned